Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our class, Psych 5, Personal and Social Awareness. And this week is the last week that we are going to have lectures. And after this week, we will have no more lectures for this course. So next week, we are going to review for the final exam. But this week, we are going to cover the topics about meaning and values. So let's continue our lecture. And this week's lecture is about the chapter 13 of our textbook. And let's continue. Before the lecture, here's a question for you to think about. What is the meaning in life? So for your life, what is the meaning? You can think about this question by your own. And you can talk about this question, discuss this question with anyone that you can find right now, or you can think about the question alone. And you can take notes and write down your answers. So think about it. What is the meaning in life? Or a related question is, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose for? And you can pause the video right now and think about the answer of this question. So let's talk about some basic concepts about meaning and values. So first of all, meaning. Baumeister and Leary in 1995 published a paper discussing about meaning, discussing what meaning is in a psychological sense. So they said that the meaning is something in our mind that is a bridge between now and future. So how to understand that statement? So what is why it's a bridge between now and future? Because every time, in every moment, we are doing something, and but we are that kind of a species that expect the future. So we do not only live in the present moment, we also have memories, but also we also have the expectations of the future. We can simulate what can happen in the future. So that's why we also live in the future. At the same time, we are living in the present moment. So sometimes we want to know whether something that we are doing right now in the present moment is meaningful in the future. How does the things that we are doing right now benefit the future? Or how does the things that we are doing right now is linked to the future? So why we are doing this thing right now instead of the other thing? So that is about meaning. That is about future. So sometimes we do not do the things for the present moment. For example, at the present moment, I want to laugh. I want to be happy. So I watch a comedy. So I read some jokes. So I watch some animes to make myself laugh, makes myself happy. So that is something that we are doing for the present moment. But sometimes we are doing something for the future. We want to have a development in the future. We want to have something bigger in the future. We want to make some achievements in some areas, such as academic performance, such as career. 2 weeks ago, we talked about career. So we want something bigger, but we cannot suddenly finish it right now. So we need to have a accumulation of the things that we are doing. So we need to accumulate some kind of experiences, work experiences. for example, to have a greater achievement at work, in the workplace, in the future. So something that we are doing right now is not really useful for the present moment, but we can do something for the future. So that's why we need have meaning. We need to know what the meaning of everything that we are doing in the present moment. So the meaning we have is a connection between now and the future, is a connection between what we are doing and what we can get in the future. So that is a meaning for why we have meaning, why we need meaning, why we seek and find meaning. So that's why all people need meaning in their life, because if there is no meaning in life, or they cannot find any meaning, they're confused. They are off the track. So they're like, they don't know what to do. After all, as human, like most of the things that we are doing are not only for the present moment, but for the future, for expectations of the brighter future. So the second basic concept is philosophy of life. So philosophy of life is the fundamental beliefs, attitudes, and values that guide our behavior. So all our behaviors are guided by the philosophy of life. So in our philosophy of life, there are beliefs, there are attitudes, there are values that we hold, and we really believe those beliefs are true. So that's the philosophy of life that we have. And there can be moral standards. How should we act? We cannot sleep. We cannot steal. We cannot lie to others. We cannot hurt others. So these are moral standards. These are fundamental values that we have. Those are philosophy of life. And the next concept is value. So values are something we really value, or we really say important. We see these values are really important. These are really core beliefs that we have. And all these core beliefs can fundamentally influence how we act. So those are the values. For example, one of the values can be courage. So as a person, I need to be brave to act, to behave what we should behave. So that is a core value called courage. So courage, in my understanding, is something like we have fear. We are afraid of bear the consequences of some kind of behaviors. But those behaviors are righteous. Those behaviors are morally right. So we should have those behaviors, even though those behaviors may bring some negative outcomes, negative consequences, but we still have those behaviors. We still act that way. We still do that. That is courage. So we can conquer our fear and do something that is right. So that is courage. That can be one of the values. So so far we have known what meaning is. So basically that is the understanding in the textbook, or my own understanding. You can have other understanding of what meaning is, but basically everybody have an understanding of what meaning is, and a lot of people have ideas of what meaning is. And also values are something that we all have. So what is the meaning of life? Why we need meaning in our life? Or we may say like it's not necessary to have a meaning in life. So how to understand that? So let's look at somebody's story. So there is really famous psychologist or really famous person whose name is Viktor Frankl. So he has passed away, I think. He was born in the 19th century or in the earliest 20th century and passed away like late 20th century or a few years ago. I don't exactly remember, but he was basically the person who lived in the 20th century. So he's from Austria. He is a Jewish. When he was young, he was a Austrian psychiatrist. So he used to be a psychiatrist who worked in the hospital. And because he was Jewish, who lived in Austria. So in the Second World War, he was captured by Nazi Germany in 1942, and he is living in a concentration camp for more than 3 years. And he survived. He did not die. He survived from the concentration camp life. And after that, he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. So this book is so famous that a lot of people know this book in the world. And in this book, he wrote about his own experiences in the concentration camp. He exactly described how they thought, including himself, including other people that he knew. They have certain kind of life in the concentration camp, and they had a lot of like the process of considering, thinking, and reflecting, and all that. And that is very interesting book because that book shows how people live a life, how people live a so harsh life in the environment such as concentration camp. There was a threat to death every day, every moment in the concentration camp. And there is one example he wrote in the book that everybody in the concentration camp needed to keep healthy because they need to work every day, really intensive labor, physical labor. And if anyone cannot work in the daytime, the enemies, the Nazi will, kill them because they're those sick people, those unhealthy people, those people who cannot work are not useful, are useless. So they just solve those people, kill them. And so that's one example. There are a lot of other examples that people can even survive in a so harsh environment. And Viktor Frankl was one of them who survived from the Holocaust, from the concentration camp life. And later, because he was a psychiatrist, so he kept searching for the therapies, for the strategies to cure the mental illness, to help people to have a better mental status. So that he developed the kind of a therapy. It's called a logotherapy. So logo is not a logo of brand. So if we talk about logo nowadays, like there's logo for that brand. For example, logo for the Nike, logo for like Adidas. But logo in ancient Greek means meaning. So logo is meaning. So logotherapy is the therapy about meaning. So what is a therapy about meaning? Logotherapy assumes that the most important thing, the primary thing that everybody needs to do in life is to seek the meaning, to find the meaning in their own life. So that's the most important thing to do. That's the primary thing to do. So searching for meaning is the most powerful driving force in humans. That's the understanding by logotherapy by Viktor Frankl. So the most important thing to do is to find meaning. Why we can have a life, why we can maintain our life, why we have motivation is because we want to search for meaning. So searching for meaning is the most important motivation in our life. We need to search for meaning. So that's why we live a good life. And we need meaning. The most important thing in life is to have meaning, to find the meaning. So that's the basic assumptions of logotherapy. And Viktor Frankl used logotherapy to give the treatments to the patients that he had and help the patients to find the meaning in life. He found that a lot of patients did not know what the meanings were in their own life. So in logotherapy, Viktor Frankl gradually helped the patients to find the meaning in life. And that is my basic understanding of logotherapy. So next, let's watch a video that introduces this guy and his book and logotherapy. So let's watch the video.
The truth is that as the struggle for survival has subsided, the question has emerged: survival for what? Even more people today have the means to live, but no meaning to live for. These are the words of Viktor Frankl, a 20th century Viennese psychiatrist, most famous for his book, Man's Search for Meaning. In that book, Frankl details his time spent as a Nazi concentration camp prisoner and reflects on how one can find meaning in life even in the harshest of conditions. Frankl, whose interest in the topic of life's meaning began as a teenager, came to the realization that while ever more people in Western nations were living lives of material comfort, all too many lived in a detrimental psychological state he called the existential vacuum. As he explained, the existential vacuum is a widespread phenomenon of the 20th century. This is understandable. It may be due to a twofold loss which man has had to undergo since he became a truly human being. At the beginning of human history, man lost some of the basic animal instincts in which an animal's behavior is embedded and by which it is secured. In addition to this, however, man has suffered another loss in his more recent development, inasmuch as the traditions which buttressed his behavior are now rapidly diminishing. No instinct tells him what he has to do, and no tradition tells him what he ought to do. Sometimes he does not even know what he wishes to do. Instead, he either wishes to do what other people do, conformism, or he does what other people wish him to do, totalitarianism. The preponderance of people living lives absent of meaning led to the emergence of what Frankl called the mass neurotic triad. This was a term he coined to describe the three most common symptoms associated with lives lived in the existential vacuum, namely depression, aggression, and addiction. To help counter the dire effects that accompany a life without meaning, Frankl founded a school of psychiatry called logotherapy, which in Frankl's words, considers man as a being whose main concern consists of fulfilling a meaning and in actualizing values, rather than in the mere gratification and satisfaction of drives and instincts. In the remainder of this video, we will outline some of the key insights of logotherapy, insights Frankl believed could greatly assist one in living a more fulfilling life. A key tenet of logotherapy is that the pursuit of meaning, or what Frankl sometimes referred to as the will to meaning, is the primary motivational factor in humans. This can be contrasted to other schools of psychiatry which maintain that the pursuit of pleasure or the will to power are the primary factors. According to Frankl, it is when individuals fail to find meaning in their lives that they turn to the dogged pursuit of pleasure or power, in the false belief that so doing will fill the void that an absence of meaning has left in them. For those who decide to pursue a more meaningful existence, Frankl emphasized that doing so did not mean searching for the ultimate meaning of life, as he put it. This ultimate meaning necessarily exceeds and surpasses the finite intellectual capacities of man. What is demanded of man is not, as some existential philosophers teach, to endure the meaninglessness of life, but rather to bear his incapacity to grasp its unconditional meaningfulness in rational terms. While the ultimate meaning of life is unknowable, Frankl held that each person had the opportunity to realize meaning in their life at a personal level, and so doing would greatly improve the quality of their life. It should be noted that Frankl did not believe that individuals created such meaning. Rather, he believed it was discovered and was present in every living moment, whether one was aware of it or not. As he put it, "I am convinced that in the final analysis, there is no situation that does not contain within it the seed of a meaning." In order to discover and realize these personal seeds of meaning, Frankl suggested that for most people, a change of attitude is required. We need to stop asking about the meaning of life and instead to think of ourselves as those who are being questioned by life daily and hourly. Our answer must consist not in talk and meditation, but in right action and right conduct. Life ultimately means the responsibility to find the right answers to its problems and to fulfill the tasks which it constantly sets for each individual. Frankl stressed that as unique individuals, meaning will present itself in different ways to each person. Each of us face different situations in our lives, some of which are more and some of which are less under our control and influence. Frankl's belief was that no matter what fate brought, if one took appropriate action and adopted the right attitude to the situation, a meaningful life could be realized. In a passage in Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl nicely distinguished how actualizing personal meaning differs from the search for abstract answers to life's meaning. To put the question of the meaning of life in general terms would be comparable to the question posed to a chess champion. "Tell me, master, what is the best move in the world?" There simply is no such thing as the best or even a good move apart from a particular situation in a game and the particular personality of one's opponent. The same holds for human existence. One should not search for an abstract meaning of life. Everyone has his own specific vocation or mission in life to carry out a concrete assignment which demands fulfillment. As Frankl notes, often the best way to live a life rich with meaning is to find one's unique vocation. Nothing contributes more to the feeling of a meaningless existence than boredom, and nothing counters feelings of boredom better than having a specific mission to carry out in one's life. In this respect, Frankl was fond of quoting Nietzsche's famous passage that "he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." Finding one's why was, according to Frankl, the best way to live a meaningful and therefore fulfilling life. However, for some, adopting a vocation and striving to achieve the goals associated with it is beyond their reach. Instead, some people face situations which they have little control over, situations which can cause immense suffering, such as being diagnosed with a terminal illness or, in Frankl's case, being imprisoned in a concentration camp. But even in such situations, as Frankl discovered firsthand, one has the opportunity to find meaning. And we will conclude this video with a passage which reflects this important belief of Frankl's. "We must never forget that we may also find meaning in life even when confronted with a hopeless situation, when facing a fate that cannot be changed. For what then matters is to bear witness to the uniquely human potential at its best, which is to transform a personal tragedy into a triumph, to turn one's predicament into a human achievement. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves."
Okay, so how do you like this video? And I think every time I watch this video, I learn something new. I think that I watched this. I have watched this video for multiple times, but I still learn something new. And because Viktor Frankl's thoughts are so profound, so deep. His ideas, his thoughts remind me how to live a life that is good, how to live a good life, what we need to pursue in our life. And in this video, it was mentioned that there are other principles. Viktor Frankl's principle is the will to meaning, or the pursuit of meaning. That is a primary motivation for humans, for people's life. But other psychologists or other researchers have different views of the human nature. For example, Sigmund Freud, he believed that the primary motivational factor is the pursuit of pleasure. Alfred Adler, he believed that the primary motivational factor is the pursuit of power. So everybody is seeking for power, and Sigmund Freud said everybody is seeking for pleasure, no matter it's any kind of pleasure. But Viktor Frankl said that a man truly seeks the pursuit of meaning, truly seeks the meaning in life. So that's why people are motivational. Well, that's why people are having the forces, having the driving forces to live a better life. Otherwise, people will suffer a lot of the symptoms, such as depression, such as anxiety, such as boredom, all that kind of thing, because they do not know their meanings. They cannot find their meanings in life. And also, I think that the meaning in life helps us survive, helps us to be better, to have a growth. There's one example from the book Man's Search for Meaning. And Frankl used to ask himself, what is the meaning of suffering in the concentration camp? What is all about? So why did he live in this concentration camp and have all this kind of suffering? So why his life is like this? And he didn't know why. He didn't figure out. He couldn't figure it out at the beginning. But later he found a meaning of this period of life. He imagined that he could share the story of the concentration camp and talk about the meaning of life in the classroom with students someday in the future. That's what he imagined when he was in the concentration camp. That's the meaning he could find at that moment. That imagination, that meaning, support him to survive in the concentration camp. So this meaning-making processes let him survive. And a lot of other survivors in the concentration camp, they also have their own meaning-making processes. They could find their own meanings so that they can survive. And a lot of other people, many people died in the camp. Why they have died? Probably not because of lack of food, not because of sickness, not because of not being healthy enough, but because they couldn't find the meaning of their life. They lost the meaning in life. They couldn't figure out why they enter this concentration camp and live such horrible life. They lost the meaning in life. They do not have the support from inside. So that support is not from outside, not from the environment, not from other people, but the meaning that people have is a support from inside of everybody's heart. So this kind of support help everyone to survive in a really harsh environment. So that's one example. I think this is very magical because Viktor Frankl talk about the process of making the meaning of this kind of life in the classroom. And there are a lot of students were listening to him, and he talked about this story. And he talked about when I was in the camp, and I imagine that there were a lot of students who were listening to me, or listen to the stories in the camp. So his imagination exactly happened many years later, when he was a old man, when all his hair was gray. He talked about his stories in the early life to all kinds of students in the classroom. So his imagination came true. So that's the meaning that he could find. So meaning is something, is a connection, is a bridge between now and the future. So the meaning that we can find right now are likely to be realized in the future. So that's why we are so motivated, so driven to do something in the present moment. Yeah, so that's why we can survive. We need a support from inside. And Nietzsche, so also the video mentioned that Nietzsche has a really famous quote: "He who has a why to live can bear with almost anyhow." So basically means that once person has a reason for live, has a reason for why they live for, has a purpose, has a meaning, they can overcome any difficulties. They can bear with almost any harsh life, any hard conditions. They can just overcome it, overcome any harsh conditions. They can overcome any harsh difficulties. At once, people have meanings in their heart, in their mind. So that's why we have meanings. That's why everybody is searching for meaning. That's why at once people lose the meaning or cannot find the meaning. They are suffering. They do not feel well. They feel depressed. They feel anxious, and so forth. Okay, so we have finished the story about Viktor Frankl, and let's go to the next topic about meaning. There is a effect. It's called a Lucifer effect. So Lucifer, you know who that is, right? So Lucifer used to be the angel in the heaven, in the Bible, in the stories of the Holy Bible, and Lucifer used to be I think he's really important figure in the heaven. And later he betrayed the heaven, he betrayed God, and he go to the side of Satan, and did a lot of bad things. So that's the story of Lucifer. And nowadays, psychology found a phenomenon is called the Lucifer effect. It tells us that the good people, the nature of these people are good, but they can do bad things. They're good, they're morally righteous, but they can do bad things at the same time. There was a experiment happened in 1970s. It's called a Stanford prison experiment. That's an experiment conducted by the professors in Bardo. So I think that you all know this experiment because we have learned that in Psych 1 class. So in that experiment, it shows that even good kids, even good students of Stanford can be evil, can do bad things, can abuse others in this experiment. So that's basics process of this experiment. Some college students who got really high GPA, and they had no record of crimes, and they were really good. They work hard to get a high GPA, and they do not do bad things in their everyday life. So the professor Zimbardo and his team recruited these college students to participate in the experiment, and they do not tell these college students what they are testing or what is the purpose of this experiment. They just recruited the participants, these college students, to have some kind of drama or like some kind of a simulation experiment. They randomly assigned this college into two roles. One role is to act as prisoners. The other role is to act as the prison guards, the jail guards. And they recorded the entire process of what it was going on in the prison. So they created the simulated jail rooms in the basement of a building in Stanford. And starting from the second day, they found that the guards, the persons who act as guards, start to abuse the prisoners more and more often, more and more harshly. And the whole entire situation was out of control on the sixth day, or even on the third day, or on the fifth day. It was totally out of control because these guards were like abusing these prisoners so harshly and with all kinds of means to abuse these prisoners physically and to abuse these prisoners spiritually. Spiritually, yeah. So yeah, so yeah, they did a lot of the bad things to the prisoners. So on the sixth day, they Zimbardo and his team had to stop the experiments because it was totally out of control. And a lot of the prisoners couldn't bear with it, had go through some kind of a mental breakdown. They just tend to be really crazy and couldn't handle that anymore. So that's the general process of the Stanford prison experiments. And later, Zimbardo and his team trying to find the implications of these experiments. What does it imply? So why that happens? Why good students can do so many bad things? And they later found that good people can do bad things. The situation is also really important. The nature of the people are really important too, but the situation is also very, very important. So if the nature of these people are good, but these good people, if these good people are in a certain situation that allow them to do bad things or ask them to do bad things or allure them to do bad things, they can do bad things. And later, based on this experiment, there are two movies coming out to talk about the same topic, to talk about why good people can do bad things. And there, one of the film is called the Die Welle. Yeah, it's a German film. It's translated as The Wave. And the other wave is a American film. It's called The Experiment. And you can watch the two movies. They are really good ones. I have watched the first German film, Die Welle. I think that movie is so interesting, and the ending of this film was really shocking, and the ending of this film let that audience think about human nature, think about how to stop good people from doing bad things. So let's watch the trailer of the first film, Die Welle.
Wogegen soll man eigentlich heutzutage rebellieren? Die Leute sehnen sich nach was Großem, nach einer Idee. Und wenn die kommt, machen alle mit. Ihr seid also der Meinung, dass die Diktatur in Deutschland nicht mehr möglich wäre, ja? Auf keinen Fall. Dazu sind wir viel zu aufgeklärt. Spürt ihr das? Das ist die Kraft der Gemeinschaft. Was ist denn noch wichtig in einer Diktatur? Disziplin, Herr Wenger. Macht durch Disziplin. Wir feiern heute keine Strandparty. Kommst du mit?
Ja, du meinst Welle-Mitglieder.
Das ist unser Zeichen. Wie eine Welle werden wir die ganze Stadt überrollen. Was hast du eigentlich gegen die Welle?
Mensch, Marco, mach doch mal die Augen auf. Die Welle entwickelt sich zu einer echt komischen Sache. Was macht sie da?
Herr Kohlhanger, glauben Sie mir. Sie sollten mal sehen, wie die Schüler aus sich rauskommen. Die sind wirklich hoch motiviert.
Wie kommt ihr dazu, unser Zeichen zu übersprühen?
Keine Ahnung, wovon du redest, du Stricher. Mein Leben gleich blass dir dein Hirn weg. Die Pistole runter.
Du hast die ganze Sache nicht unter Kontrolle. Überhaupt nicht mehr.
Wenger, Sie können ja jetzt nicht weinen. Sag mal, spinnst du? Wenger, es geht nicht.
Du genießt es, wie sie dich vergöttern, in deinen Unterrichtsströmen dir an den Lippen hängen.
Der will euch alle manipulieren. Du musst es abbrechen. Sofort. Sag du mir nicht, was ich machen soll, okay?
Yeah. So now I remember the basic story of this movie, and you can see here's a history teacher in a middle school in Germany, and he was new. He comes to this school and wants to have something new and help the German students to understand Nazi Germany, to understand why the German people in that period did so many bad things, even though they are not inherently good. And what he does in the film is that he launches a movement in the classroom, in the class. That movement is called the wave or Die Welle. So what he suggests doing is that everybody does the same thing. Everybody wears the same clothes, like white shirt, blue jeans. Everybody is like that, including this history teacher. And they invented they designed a logo. You can see that logo in the field. They designed a logo. They created a special shirt for with that logo on the shirt, and they sprayed this logo everywhere publicly. And you can see in the trailer that even though, especially, they even have the conflicts with mafia, local mafia, because they spread the logo into somewhere that the mafia had control of. And they punish everyone who does not do the same thing. For example, they punish anybody who doesn't wear the white shirt and the blue jeans. They punish anybody who does not obey. So that's it is gradually out of control. And it's not expected by this history teacher. And he couldn't control this situation later on. And the people in the classroom, the students in the classroom are more and more extreme, more and more toward conformity, toward treating harshly to the betrayers, the so-called betrayers. And in the last class of that semester, the history teacher comes to the students and says, "Look at what you have done. Look at what you are wearing. This is what exactly happened in the Second World War in Germany. We have to stop this. We have to stop all this movement." And there is one student who is so upset, who absorbed in this kind of a movement. He cannot stop. He cannot live a life with that kind of a movement. He must continue this. So what he does is that he steals a gun from the police station and wants to control everyone in the classroom. And finally, that student killed somebody, and he got arrested by the policeman later on. So there are negative consequences of this kind of movement. So I think that's overall, that's a really good movie. That movie let people think why this movement is out of control, why good people can do bad things, why the situations are so powerful that the people cannot resist it. So that's that's about the Lucifer effect. So let's go to another topic. So this topic is, I think that it's the most important in this lecture. So how to find the meaning in life. So we have known that meaning is the bridge between now and future. We need a meaning. From Viktor Frankl's story, we know that we need a meaning. Humans need a meaning. Without meaning, there are a lot of negative consequences, psychological, behavioral consequences. But the next question is like how to find meaning in life. In what means, with what means we can find meaning. So the first suggestion from the textbook is that we can be spiritual. We can rely on our own spirituality. We can ask ultimate questions to make connections with the world. Some ultimate questions is like, why this world exists in this way? Why this world is like this? And how myself is connected to the universe? How myself is connected to all other people in the society? How myself is connected to everything in the world? So we can think about these ultimate questions. And by searching for the answers of these ultimate questions, we can gradually make connections with everything in the world. We can gradually find that, oh, myself is connected to all other things, all other people in the world. My life is meaningful because these things and these people need me. I'm a part of a larger network of things and people. And the second suggestion is that we can gradually build some basic spiritual values. We can live based on these values. If we have those values, if we behave based on those values, we can find a meaning in life. So those spiritual life values can be love. We love others, others love us. So we have connections with others in love. The channel is love. And love is also our value. So we live to realize the love. We live to make love true. And also the spiritual values can be compassion, can be tolerance, can be forgiveness, can be warmth, and so forth. You can say all these values help everyone grow, help everyone calm down, help everyone to have a better life. So we can find those basic spiritual values and realize those values, actualize those values. We can also connect with others by embracing diversity, because everyone is unique. And every society, every culture is unique. So people are so diverse, people are so different, people are so unique. And we can open our minds and connect with others and respecting and embracing those diversity. Another suggestion is that we can connect with others by being aware of all these negative judgments on groups of people, such as stereotypes, such as prejudice, such as racism, such as like a cognitive bias towards some kind of people. Yes, if we are aware of this negative judgments on people, we can change our minds. Sometimes people cannot, they are not aware they are racist, or they are not aware they have stereotypes. They just have a basic implicit assumptions about groups of people. So when they are aware of these stereotypes and prejudice and other stuff, they can change their minds. They can behave in a way that everyone is respected, everyone is embraced. So that's how we connect with others. That's how we find a meaning in life. We need to build the channels. We need to make sure that the channels between us and other people are good, are really easy to use. So we can embrace the diversity of every person. We can respect the uniqueness of every person. We can be aware of the uniqueness of every group of people. We can be aware of every negative judgment in our mind on other people. And also we can pursue something. We can have some kind of achievements in life. We can pursue the social interest. Namely, we can do something good to the society. We can do something to benefit the society, so that we can find a meaning in life. Because with that, with those achievements, with those behaviors, we gradually find that in my own world, there are also other people. My spiritual world is bigger than myself only. So that's the meaning of my behavior. So I do something not only for myself, but also for others. So meaning is a bridge between now and the future. It basically says that I do something not only for right now, but also for the future. I can be better in the future. And also you can expand this meaning to other people as well. So it's basically, I do this not only for myself, but also for the society, for the greater good, for other people, for the benefits of other people. That's how you connect yourself with other people. So not only connect the now and the future, but also connect yourself and other people. So that's the basic principles of finding meaning in life. And also you can find a meaning through growing yourself. For example, forming a habit of reading. You can read books, more and more books. You can establish a habit of it. And also you can write journals to have reflections about yourself. If you are more aware of yourself, if you are more aware of your feelings and your emotions and your thoughts, you can have more personal growth. So writing journals is really important. That is also why in this class, in this course, I ask you to write journals. That is because writing journals help yourself grow, helping yourself to have more growth. And also you can go to counseling sessions if you have any confusions or you just want to grow yourself psychologically, emotionally. You can go to counseling sessions to get help from other people, other professionals, therapists, for example. And I think there are more ways to find meaning in life. And everybody has their own way to find meaning in life, but these are the suggestions in the textbook. And I think that these suggestions are very, very good. You can use these suggestions to find the meaning in life. And question time, how do you find the meaning in life? What is your strategy? You can think about it. You can have some kind of reflection. Okay, so the things to know about for meaning and value for this chapter. So first thing, we need to know about what meaning is and philosophy of life and the values. So we need to know the basic concepts of this. And also we can know about what the Lucifer effect is. And then we can know about the approaches to find meaning in life. That's what we just talked about, the ways to find the meaning in life. So these are all the stuff for this chapter. And then we can go to the journal assignment. The last journal assignment we can write about. So this week, let's finish journal 11, the last journal that for this class. So think about the moment when you felt your life was really meaningful, and think about this moment and answer the following questions in the journal. So there are 3 questions in the journal. The first one, what made that feeling occur? Can write down any reasons for why you had such a feeling at that moment. So that's the reasons for why you have a meaningful life. And the second question is that what did the feeling of meaningfulness bring to you? Can discuss how the meaning in life at that moment benefit you. So that the second question is about the feeling that you have when you think that, when you feel that the life is meaningful. And also you can talk about the benefits of meaningfulness in life. And the third question is about the life in general. It's not about a specific moment, but about life in general. So what factors in life help you find the meaning in life? And what factors stop you find the meaning in life? So what can help you find the meaning in life? Well, what other factors stop you find the meaning in life? You can talk about this, about your life in general. So these are the 3 questions. And this journal assignment is due by the end of this week, May 2nd. And every question is 4 points. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's this journal is that's all the requirements for this journal. And the next week, we're going to review for the final exam. We have a final exam for our class. That is the end of this semester from May 10th to May 12th. But before that, 1 week before that, we need a review for the final exam. So next week, review for the final exam. And also from starting from this week, you can start to review for the final exam. Review everything that we learned from this class. Yeah, but next week I'll upload a video that go over everything in a study guide. We have a study guide. I think we already have a study guide in the folder, and you can look at it, download it, and read it, and see what is there in the study guide. You can start to review for the final exam. And also don't forget to upload the video about the presentation. We also have a presentation assignment that is due at the end of this semester. Yeah, so let's talk about the review for the next week, and see you next week.